Hey, hello everybody. Back with some of my favourite people here. Yes, we come on today and we're going to talk a bit about the situation that we find ourselves in with two brilliant men I have here, David Giamitia, and we have Claudio, who's just muted himself.
I'll say hello now then.
Just to let you know.
We'll cover the gap. Hello.
Yeah.
Good day.
Hi.
Good rising. Thank
Hello,
you, sister.
Hello, everybody. Happy Lent. Hope everybody's
Yeah,
well.
so Claudio, I put your video out the other day, which you can talk about in a minute. But what do you think about what's happening now, guys? I'll ask David first and then go to Claudio. But David, what do you think about what's happening now?
I'm not able to definitively say is my main answer there. I can speculate and I can say what I have information-wise. I operate substance over the form, and I have posted an update today about the UK Gov guidance for health professionals. I'll put the link in the chat tomorrow or when we're on for the scribes, when you premiere it. But I'm not sure. There is mixed reports, fake news. We're aware of that, and errors, mistakes. And I was alive, unfortunately, to see mad cow disease and the control and the health department's, reassessment of the BSE and so forth. So there is conflicting information out there. There is an infodemic out there. And I've just said to you earlier privately, I took some time out after I was looking at deeper parts of adrenochrome, elites, and drugs, borders, walls, presidents, Q drops, everything like that. And then the actual infection rate and the panic and the fear. It's obvious man is scared. And I don't like the fact to see a scared family, because panic buying is indicative of fear, you would argue, wouldn't it? So the consequences to man could be potential death. And the clarification as to what's going on. Remember, we've had SARS and Zika and Ebola and swine flu and other variants of, and COVID-19 is just, I don't know what to say or what's going on. The COVID-19 guidance for health professionals says that it's been regraded and that it's no longer classed as a HCID in the UK. I'll give the link to when the video's on, but as of the 19th of March. And then
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. And I did say one more thing, David. Dave, can I say one thing? Yeah. You know the thing about mad cow's disease you said? I put the video out, it was I think it was Richie from Boston, I can't remember which video it was now, explaining that, oh no, it was Crow 777. Mad cow's disease, those animals were dipped in this stuff with phosphates and stuff like that. It went to the nervous central system, so they never had a disease. They were poisoned.
Oh, new information, new knowledge.
It's on if you go to my Crow 777, the last one, the guy explains it there. And then, and then obviously everybody's now talking about, we can't get viruses. So I don't, it's just, for those awake people, it's quite frustrating, isn't it, that something else is happening here? But carry on.
I don't know anybody that's sick. Thank you for that. I will check that out as well then. Let's just encapsulate that bit. And I don't know anybody immediately or in the trust or the family, the clansmans. They're all right. The scribes, I've checked in and we're going live and checking in on them. So I've only got reports to go off and government statements, health, ministers and so forth there, Matt Hancock, the chief scientific officers and public health notices. So we are cautious of the mainstream, boat people, water, rivers, streams. So we're cautious of that. We're aware of fake news. Media hype on all platforms is beyond a joke. So I've had to just, disregard. That's why I've missed your messages, to be fair.
You've had loads of people write to you, haven't you?
Yeah, we get lots. I've got a bit in my channels, and then on the .com and Facebook and the YouTube and the emails combined, it is quite busy, comments and input. So I'm a man of substance, and that's why Claudio magnetized. I magnetized to Claudio's numbers and key, the names and the planets and the alignments and the constellations. It ties in. When I heard that man speak and others that have spoken and projected dates, calendars, times, planets, names, all of this, that is when my brain and heart went, hang on a minute, this is similar to, and we started to analyze certain, I don't know, lineages and gnosises, theories, religions, people's characters, stories, and that, one, is articulate, two, it's 80-90% factual. We have some piecing together to do. It's not all put out, but that is it's more beneficial to me than idle gossip, speculation, hype, and spreading. I've had to stop 2 posts in my time in the last week. People saying, get an emergency something pack from your GP and you can get this, this and this, but you can't get an emergency pack from your GP. That was an incorrect, misleading post. And in times of strain and, you know, requirement of performance, we don't want to be slowing down the system with nonsensical requirements that don't exist. And, you know, it's too much conflict. So Claudio and the ones that study that have the correlation of the planets and the times is what I go on. You know, that's all I can go on. Anybody out there that goes on anything else, I'd like to know. But the fixtures of the times, the places, the calendars, yeah, it's there to be looked at. So I'd like Claudio to enlighten us on that as well.
Have we? And I mean, you know, in our lifetime, we've never been here before. Supposedly in 1918 we had Spanish flu, and it did the same sort of thing. It got rid of the third of the population. And
we have been here before, and Claudio can answer that because I've seen his up-to-date videos and I've commented, and I think you should let him speak and open the cast with, you know, if that's all right. I'm going to yield the floor.
Oh, keep going, brother. You're on a roll, man. I love it.
No, they need, because otherwise it won't be as relevant and cohesive if you explain what you've recently put out about the April dates and so forth. And yeah, we've got some publications to. I don't know if I've sent it to you, Claudio and Karen, but I will get it to you after this cast. And I think it's on Facebook, the truth about the real meaning of Christmas and dates and certain things there to do with the Messiah and the Son and the rebirth. And I'd like to put that out in the open. It's not our work. It's a collaboration of various works. It's in a 140-page document, supplementary to the Sumerian base 10 mathematics and stuff. This is strictly a historical, chronological trip, journey, examination of times, dates, Pentecost, rebirth and whatnot. So this is planetary as well. So where you've got the April dates, they're in this publication, but I'm not able to articulately reference it all as much as you may be able to, Claudio. I'll be honest.
Claudio.
Awesome.
You're muted. That's it, yeah.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that document, David. You always do great work, and I rely on you for a lot of things. Like we all rely on each other, which that's what it's supposed to be about. Wow, where do I start? Yeah, and thank you so much for all the work that you do to prove. There's so many people out there doing similar, different vectors on what's truth and what's not truth. And there's so many people out there still chasing the pixels, those poor media agents who are just trying to survive. They know that they've been taught that the more they lie, the more they get promoted and the more money they make. So they're out there, and I'm sure they're out there in the door, you know, from their bosses, get me stories, and they're just making shit up. So I don't believe it's all comes from a class of elites. No, it's just that the elite thing is the choice thing, is the white light thing, and people can make choice. And if they choose to take money and provide fear, that's the part that's not good, right? And there's a lot of that going on from every walk of life. I don't like calling those elite because they're not lit up. They're delit. Because if they were illuminated, they wouldn't be doing what they're doing because they'd know the truth. And the truth is out now. This is the Lent that we've been celebrating forever. Most all festivals are celebrations of events to come. And like I can speak, why was it that all of a sudden I got a phone call to the local Chicharo club to go and try to be on the board of directors? And I said, sure, no problem. I went on the board of directors, and I didn't get involved with, but I participated in helping because I needed some help for the La Donna di Canetto, La Madonna di Canetto. And that's the story of the Black Mary and a black baby. And that's what's happening right now, right? I have to apologize. I just had the air conditioner turn on over here. Is that causing a problem?
Yeah, we can hear that. It's like you fried a fly or something.
Yeah, let me move inside. Hang on. It's just so nice outside.
I mean, for a lot of people, they will feel, well, we all sound a bit flat and tired, don't we? All of us. You can hear it in your voice. It's only for you, Claudio.
Yeah, I was up early in the morning.
Yeah, we're all tired though, aren't we? As truthers.
Yeah, it's all good. Mine is, I'm going to be honest, is it's from going out and having a few drinks last night. So I got alcohol voice, I guess. I didn't have very many, but yeah. So the Italians, as many people celebrate year after year of the second coming. Well, it's not a second one. It happens. Now, I don't have any proof of this statement as far as the timing of this event. It's either twice or once every 26,000 years. So we are now.
It's amazing that we're all here then for this, because, you know, if I had to say, I put out this medium, and she said she did this video about 10, 15 years ago, but she was talking about this waves of people. The first wave are just sent here from source. The second wave are antennas, which is us. The third wave are our children, you know, in their 20s and 30s now. And I just thought that was quite, you know, I've kept that for quite a few years, that video, but I put it out on Unscrambled the other day.
Okay, I have to find that one.
You know, we're antennas.
No, I mean, it's, yeah, we all have the ability to be an antenna. We all have the ability to have apparitions. We all have the ability to have epiphanies, because we are all one. We are 100%. I know I've said it before. The yin part of us is the connection. It's the first one in the Fibonacci sequence of 011. So when everything goes back to the basic, I don't know if you want to call it math, arithmetic, because sometimes the words are not the right words, but we're saying we're counting, right? With the 0, the 1, and the 1. That's from Ken Wheeler, 100%. So everything stems from that. So every one of us has the ability to talk with the dark light. People think dark light means not good. It's absolutely good, because the black is the fastest light. It's the instantaneous light. It's the etheric light. It's the light that moves instantaneously. So there is no time frame between that. So getting back to the La Madonna di Canetto, every year they celebrate her. Why are these people forever still celebrating this? Because deep down inside, they know it's going to happen again. Well, I was brought there for what reason? So I knew that when I got involved, very little, like I said, I just helped out for the day, that I got to see the whole thing. I got to see a bishop lying out through his teeth to help protect what's happening in the Vatican. So I got to see that portion of it. But more importantly, I got to know, and I started researching, because that story came from my dad's hometown. And when I started researching that whole thing, I started researching into the Samnites. See, I'm a Samnite. We're all Indians, right? The separation is to stop people from claiming their common rights, common law rights, which are all coming back now. And common means moon, kamoon. So moon law, like the commandments are the moon laws. We're all going back to that. So the Samnites were part and parcel to the Pythagoreans and all the truthers. So the Samnites were truthers doing like what we're doing today. So those celebrations stem back from way long time ago of sharing the truth of God's light, if you want to call it. People are going to be very confused with these type videos because they're used to what man has told them. And as recently as just yesterday, I mean, they can't disagree that God made the lights and man makes the Bible, and they interpret the Bible. And people have told me, yeah, I know, I don't agree in the King James Bible anymore, but I still believe that Jesus Christ the Lord is within us and he's coming back to save us. I said, okay, but what are you going off of if you're not going off the King James Bible? If you haven't translated anything, well, the stars are there. They don't change. The message is in the stars, and it can never change.
Can I just say something that, you know, most of us have been told the wrong information. We all think we're educated, not with etymology, not the whole thing. And the awake people will know, but we've been told all this wrong stuff and told to follow all the wrong stuff.
Right. So it's nobody's fault. It's just when we're trying to share truth, and it's very difficult to explain the physics and the metaphysics from Ken Wheeler, the whole astrology from Santos Bonacci. You put those two guys together, you got 60 years of work. The thing I'm trying not to do is I'm trying not to prove what they've done wrong, because there's a whole lot in that. There's a whole lot of time to do that, and just share the truth of what we need to know going forward. Now, it's not perfect. Like David said, Brother David, we're piecing it together. We're probably 80-90% there, and we're all okay with having to tweak and change. Somebody prove to me what I have, that it's not mine. It's pieces of work from people that have studied, the people that knew, like Ken Wheeler, that studied the Pythagoreans, the Platonists, the nomads.
So they're telling us. So Claudia, they're telling us something else. So we believe in the fake gods and all that kind of stuff, when really they're actually following, because we're in this lockdown for 40 days, which is this thing leading up to Easter. So they are following it, but they're not telling us they're following it.
They don't know why. They don't know why. They're probably listening to your videos. They're listening to people's videos, but there's not enough time in a day for them to try to figure out who's got the right one. But they don't know why. If they knew why, man, Trump, if I were Trump and I found out why, I'd be giving my billions of dollars away, because money is going away. Cash is going away. There may be a little dip with silver and gold, but that'll go away too. And then what do you have? We have each other. We have each other. The system's already in place. We already grow food, although it's tainted and needs to be fixed. And the CEO of Bayer already stepped down after they bought Monsanto. The food's being cleaned up. The CEOs are doing things. They're already reducing I just seen a note from Windsor, the NWIN from Hydro One, the electrical companies in Ontario, that they're going to start. They're being kind-hearted right now. They're not going to shut you down right away if you don't pay your bill. So it's starting. It's starting. I've predicted for 2 years now that we will be no longer paying bills, taxes, all that's going to go away. And that the house, and then more and more that I learned, the more from people, that the house of cards
with all these bank accounts on our names through our birth certificates, they can do it, can't they? Because they've got millions.
Yeah, exactly. We could talk for that one for hours, right? But the thing is it's all going away. And so getting back to this Lent, they still have the yin in them, and they're still being guided by the angels. Their hands and their lips will be moving at a certain percentage towards what we need to be doing. This is a forced lockdown in some locations, but at the end of the day, the angels are steering this, because this is the Lent of all Lents. This is the Lent that we have been celebrating year after year, like the La Madonna di Canetto, sorry. So this is the Lent of all Lents. If people can't see that, they need to think about it. They need to.
So what you're saying is we're going into a new time then, basically.
It's a reset of the clock. We're going into the age of Aquarius. This is baptismal. Age of Aquarius. Aquarius is thanks to Santos, the John the Baptist is a story, an allegory of Aquarius and this time when we get baptized. And the celebration of baptism that they've done in the churches, the baptismal was always something that they celebrated, because knowing that we're going to get a baptism, and over the years and the thousands of years, they misconstrue it. And you think if your baby's not going to be baptized, it's not going to be any good. I mean, all that crap, so you can go there and give them money, right? So, and I don't want to call it crap. I apologize for that. Because it is truly a ritual of preparing for this baptism, which we're going through right now. Again, I don't monetize my channels. I don't have very many followers anyway. Not, I mean, not that that matters. I'm just saying there is when we talk like this is church. We're supposed to be talking about this. And funny how we all have all the time in the world right now to talk about it. So this is baptism. We have to go within and start learning our own charts, studying this guy, or just believe that everything is good. But that doesn't cut it. See, Ken Wheeler has done a really good job in explaining metaphysics. When we pass, most people will answer this question: would you go towards the black or would you go towards the white light? What would you think most people would say? You're going to go towards the white light, right? Well, the white light is manifestation, and that's why they call it Lucifer, because it's the white light. The white light gives us choices. It gives us manifestation. It takes us out of the ether, out of the black. It makes us it gives us choice to do not good things, but we also have the right to do good things. So this is our training ground, so to speak, here on how to be the stars, the gods.
It's like transits and things. Oh, sorry, carry on. Transits and things. So things like that, like in astrology.
When you say transit, I'm not sure what you mean. Like you talk about transits of the planets?
Well, you've got all these things in astrology, which are like pluses and minuses, transits and all this stuff. Is that where we are? We're just transitioning.
Yeah, well, yes. Well, because and all the lessons come as they come into your life to wake you up. Go ahead, David.
David?
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, here, just take a moment there on me. Lucifer, we was on about this just yesterday. The character, the names, the light giver, Luciferians, above heaven, title. Be aware of what we've said before. Yeah, the Lord God and the split titles there. Church, we are in a church. This is where you heal your hurt. God is a DJ in Faithless. Was it Insomnia and so forth that come out then? That was a good comment you made there about being in a church. But the title of Lucifer when he was above, before the battle and the fallen ones, remember the Nephilim, Nibiru, Planet X, sons of gods, sons of man, and a biblical flood that allegedly washed them away. So Lucifer was above in the heavens. That was his title and name, we believe, and it looks like from the stories and the divine comedy, La Divina Commedia, as they say in Italiano, Divina Commedia is a long Italian narrative poem by Dante Alighieri. Is it something like that? 1308. So this divine comedy that we're in, Lucifer above, fell out, get kicked out of heaven for whatever reason. The fallen angels that were banished down with as well. Stories of the gospel. Lucifer, devil, Lucifer now, the devil, change of name, title, position. Like Lord God, split title, and Jesus, Yahweh, Messiah, Christ, conscious, Christ Jesus, Jesus Christ. All right, so these are all individual specific names, titles, positions for. Be aware. It took me a while. So the devil, Beelzebub, he will not let you go. Offered Jesus the 9 realms, and in the scriptures, Jesus didn't say they're not yours to offer. He said no. And why did he say no and that they're not yours to offer? Because it looks like the allegiance was when he got kicked out. Lucifer, creator, I'll say, Lord, whatever, their names many. I'm not sure. I don't want to get picked on. I have my belief. And the agreement was, the deal was, a bit like Brewster's Millions style, but pre-Brewster's and Hollywood. I will turn man against you, creator, and they will never see me. They will never meet me. They will never, know I am there. The greatest trick the devil has played is to convince man he does not exist. The devil, we find, is in the details of the print. Devil's advocate, enough said. So there's a wager, a war wager, that the realm can be conquered by an invisible man that nobody sees, nobody hears. He looks like a businessman. Beelzebub, Satan, X, base 10, A10. So you don't see him, but he's there. He's everywhere. And that's a trick. He doesn't exist, does he? He's not real, everyone. Well, I'll leave it there because this is part of a divine comedy which was brought to me by Chiron Last and other members of the realm, the Italian literature, world literature, imaginative vision of the afterlife is a representative of the medieval world view. roughly. It's developed in Western Church by the 14th century, 1302, Unum Sanctum, 1308, Divine Comedy, completed 1320. Very, very key points and times here. The Western Church adopting it by the 14th century and helped establish the Tuscan language. Thank you, Santos, again. Yeah, let's name drop. Also, in most present-day Italian market editions, as the standardized Italian language. It's divided into 3 parts, my fam. The first part, Inferno, fire, hellfire. Second part, Purgatorio, or Purgatorio, yeah, that, as I remember it. And part 3 would be the end part, the best part. So some Paradiso, pair of dice, paradise, roll the dice. So you look at that, and now when we go live or whatever, we can get some more links in here. But the Gospel of Thomas and the Summa Theologica of Thomas Aquinas, the Divine Comedy has been called the Summa in verse, all right? So remember that in Dante's work, the Pilgrim Dante is accompanied by 3 guides, very similar to, and you got Virgil's representing human reason, Beatrice, who represents divine revelation, theology, faith and grace, and Saint Bernard of somewhere like Clairvaux, who represents the contemplative mysticism and devotion to Mary. I'm going to leave it there. It's too deep. I yield.
Oh, thanks for that, David.
Yeah, that was a short version. Sorry. You're welcome.
Just asking before Claudia comes in. So how's things affecting you with what's going on, by the way?
Not too bad.
Well, with this whole, yeah, you're all right, are you?
Not financially, spiritually, okay. Realm-wise, reliant upon, everything like you are. There's still bills going out, well, charges coming in that need to be discharged. There aren't any real bills. The charges are coming in, and we've got to, look after our young ones, ourselves, our health. So it's annoying because we had technology in the 1800s. You've all heard of Louis Pasteur and the accidental discovery of penicillin and so forth. Pasteurized milk, bacterial issues were done by famous scientists that were non-academically. They were private, a bit like Trump and his presidential candidacy and working for free and having his own money. These lot back in the 1800s, all of them, inventors, philosophers, etc. They were freelance. They were not bottled up and contracted and whatnot. They worked for companies. Obviously, there's evidences of that. But it wasn't until they invented stuff that it got bought up and then patented, and the commercial realm began to ensue with the Food and Drugs Administration, medical councils, and etc. Rockefeller. But we have got alchemical, and again, you and I, others. This channel that we're on now, your channel has covered this. I have alchemics and what we have, the placebo, nocebo. So I'm a bit annoyed that we are in the 2020 realms without our hoverboards that were promised, and the unrealistic life expectations given to us by Disney, and we're having to still fumble through, as amateur monkeys in some respects, when we have got technologies in the private domain that have now come out in the freedom of information and open source, such as anti-magnetic, technology. He's mentioned Ken Wheeler there, another YouTube. Why are we learning from YouTube fundamental applications of physics that we should have learned at school? That's my question number one. Why are we dying from simple things, allegedly, that we could fix, that YouTube proclaims, and other independent publications? Matthew was on the other day about a compound element called carbon-60, and a study that was done on rats, and that allegedly this peer-reviewed, that means academically, peer-reviewed means it's real and it's not YouTube or speculative. It's out there in the public domain in documented format with references to the doctors and the scientists and the institution that did this testing. And the C60 compound element that we found took rats to live 90% longer. And they got rid of issues they had. So when this goes live, I'll get more information there. I'm annoyed. We've got the certificates that you mentioned and the bonds and everything. We've got all of the abundance we require, but these gatekeepers are keeping us from that abundance. So this is an important time for us to watch, get together, chat. we have the time, we have the intent, and we have the technology and the capability. So the ones with eyes to see and ears to hear, you know, maybe.
Yeah, we have all the time you want at the moment to talk, don't we, David? Being locked up in our houses.
Yeah, and I want to let Claudio, I don't want to dominate, but I have got some interesting stuff. I've sent you both an email, which is called Xmas Story, The Truth, the Facts about Christian Christmas and the interpretation of, you know, Jesus Passover. And you've both got an email there of that document to mull over. And I've got a bit of it to read out later. So, yeah, I'll yield and see what Claudio's got to say. Is he there?
Oh, yes, yes, I'm still here. I'm just waiting. You usually say,
Can I just say one thing we haven't talked about is that this is a spiritual war, isn't it, that's going on right now? It's a spiritual war that's happening to us.
But it's a spiritual war within ourselves. Okay? If I said right now, and I put out, hey, I got free energy, do you know how many people would come to me and want to pay me? That's the whole thing. It's the greed of everyone. It's not just the greed of the people. And I don't like using the term, so I'm going to pick the lost souls that are in the media, the lost souls that are preaching to you every day so you can go to see a false idol. Okay, the false idol being money. All right? 100%. This is an internal spiritual war. It's the yin and the yang. The yang is the white, and and this is perfect because the white is the devil in detail, the detail. It's this Ouroboros, this snake eating its tail, the detail, right? The devil is in the details. The devil is in the tail, is the snake eating its own tail. Us wanting to keep manifesting, us wanting to be in this world. This is I
think we all knew things couldn't carry on though, because you know, my son's just bought a 3-bedroom house. He moved in end of November. Over 400,000 for this new bungalow. But I mean, who can afford these things? Some people, a few people can, but most of us can't.
Right.
It's just the money. You know, council tax, £150, £60 a month. You know, that's just a horrible tax, that one, where we're paying for all our facilities.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, we can talk for days about all that, but it's the system of society that was created by greedy people that allows everybody to be greedy. So now we're here in this, and this is all by design. This is an experience we're supposed to experience. It's in everybody's chart. And now we get to come out of it. But now the thing is that if you're going to want to keep eating your tail, then that is the devil in a detail. So the devil doesn't exist. The devil is lived backwards. Evil is lived backwards. So it is all our choice. We're here as...
Oh my goodness, yeah! Live is evil! Oh my goodness!
And I'm being quiet, but stories are also tales, are they not? Let me tell you a tale. Shh.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Right, exactly. So it's all about us wanting to eat our tail. Again, when we pass, the way Ken explains it, from deciphering, decoding, transcribing, translating all the ancient texts, all the stuff that when you're illuminated, you understand. And 26,000 years ago, I shouldn't say 26,000 years, on the other half, so we're now probably 55% through. So 45% of 26,000 years ago, we knew all this. So now is the time for us to
about
relearn.
12,000 years ago, that would have been 12,000 years, roughly 11,000 years reset, Noah time. Sorry, but just
exactly.
important.
That's right, because we don't know if any of our history is correct, because we don't know whether they put it in place to make it look like we had a history.
Right, but the Egyptians did a great job. Okay, the Egyptians did a great job, and they were way bigger, so they didn't need technology for those blocks. Those stones were small. Okay, so, and they were bigger. If anybody has not seen Hangman 1128,
because you know what? Because you know what? There's a whole set of people they're not talking about. The Tartaria people that built the big buildings with the pillars on. No one talks about them. They were a set of people that lived here who were a lot more further advanced than we are. We're probably using their technology now on the Hangouts. You know,
well, right. We are, but the greed of man, it's all about profit before profit. The greed of man, which is our brothers and sisters, they're on this stage with that role and function that is designed to put us in this tailspin so that we can learn what not to do and how choice and greed and all those things, these are a lesson for us young stars. We're youngsters or young stars. So these are...
So are we here to change things then, Claudio?
Yes. Yes, it's part of us to learn that you can't go those directions because they don't work. And
can I ask you something, Claudio? Are you an empath?
I don't know what that means. Sorry. English is my second language.
An empath is somebody who can not only have their own feelings, they feel other people's feelings.
We all have that ability. That's our yin. We all have that ability. We all have the ability of doing magic, communicating with the angels. We can all be clairvoyant. We all have that ability. Some of us in our charts have certain beautiful energies closer than others, and so their energies will be a little bit higher with those communications. But know that your chart will tell you exactly when your channels open up, and those are the transits that you talked about.
See, an empath's more for the people, right? So I think you have to know who you are, otherwise you'll never understand you're an empath. When you're an empath, you can not only deal with your feelings, you can deal with other people's feelings.
And I'm telling you that I do feel people. I see them in their face. When I see their faces, I know.
I reckon David's the same because of what he does. I think David's an empath as well.
Right.
And the empaths, you know, the empaths are the awake people.
Yeah, it's all part of it, right? It's all part of it. Every one of us is unique and different. And if you want to know yourself, okay, this self that is not the true self, right? Because the true self is the one that doesn't have all these forms.
Yeah, the ego one. You need to get rid of that ego. Leave your ego at the door.
Exactly. So
unfortunately, we've been bred into these narcissistic ego people who only think of yourself. That's the only thing that's important to a lot of people is me. Whereas there is me, but I want to help or tell people the truth. So I go out. You go out. David's going out. I think we're empaths on this. We're very respectful to each other. We don't even talk about egos, but you know, a lot of people are very egotistical in this globe world.
May I just add a comment then about this? I don't think that it is our destiny to understand this realm and where we are. I think it is only our destiny and our job to understand ourselves. If we understand ourselves, we will then understand our environment. But the Godhead within and etc. is not easy to find in this realm. So I've adopted my standpoint on the realm, life, spirits, souls, God's creators, and I would argue now that David needs to know, man needs to know himself. I need to know myself, and once you do that, you will then connect, and you connect with yourself. And once you find yourself, and what we've done is work, and we've been attacked, and we've been kicked down, and we've been beat, and we've suffered losses, and we've got up, and we've got to manage ourselves, and we've taken them losses, and we've grown. Whereas others take them losses and they get less. They go lower vibratory. Where each attack we've got, it's hurt us, and we've licked our wounds, and we've got back up stronger. And at some point, we've got strong enough where the universe has acknowledged us. When the universe acknowledges you through, there we go, syncretism, syncretism as itself, chronicity, coincidence, and you get on that track. And once you get on that track, that path, you can't get off it. It's a contract, but it's not like the contract with the devil in the details, which you can't see him, but your contract with him, and it is a male energy, I believe, not a female one. And I believe the other light side, where you go in yin and yang, is the female Gaia creator side. Elohim's gods, sky gods, people, plasma, consciousness itself, maybe a female plasma energy, and I don't know, but I'm really up to press giving you what I believe, and as I've said that there, then and only then maybe you will start to understand the environment. But yeah, well said on that point. Dates and times and biblical prophecies, KJV and texts that we've found, they've been corrupted and they've been hidden and burned, and it's been a contrived point to hear, and we've done amazingly well to we've got a lot of men and women to thank for the research and the scribes that are written in the Bible. We think are olden day scribes that are writing the passages and the gospels and the interpretations and the codings, but we as scribes on YouTube and to channels and groups are scribing today. You get a prescription from your doctor. He gives you a script, a scribe, a script writer, a script of a text, the Divine Comedy, the plays, the actors, the script is there. And we flip the script, if you like, and it needs a tweak, but if I could just let you reflect on that, and then I've got something to read you shortly, if I may. Yeah. Are we good to go, Claudio?
Absolutely. Yeah. Go for it. Go for it, brother.
It will take me 5 minutes. I'm not going to stop. I'll do it slowly, and it's important that this is said on some channel somewhere. So make notes if you need to, and I'll just give you a page. And I've emailed you this. You've both got this in your email. It's on page 5 for your reference. All right. So in the New Testament, 1 Corinthians 5 and then 7 and 8. Yeah. So you've got your chapter 5, verses 7 and 8. Our paschal lamb, Christ, has been sacrificed. Therefore, let us celebrate the festival. It was certainly a distinctive Christian feast by the mid-2nd century CE, that's Common Era, when the apocryphal text known as the Epistle to the Apostles had Jesus instruct his disciples to make commemoration of his death. That is the Passover. All right. Jesus' ministry, miracles, passion, and resurrection were often of most interest to first and early 2nd century CE Christian writers. Over time, Jesus's origins would become of increasing concern. We can begin to see that this shift already in the New Testament. The earliest writings, Paul and Mark, made no mention of Jesus's birth. The Gospels of Matthew and Luke provide well-known but quite different accounts of the event, although neither specifies a date. In the 2nd century CE, further details of Jesus' birth and childhood are related in I hate this word, apocryphal writings such as the Infancy Gospel of Thomas and the Proto-Science and Planets and Astrotheology of Proto-Sciences, and this is the Proto-Gospel of James. These texts provide everything from the names of Jesus' grandparents to the details of his education, allegedly, but not the date of his birth. I'm halfway through. Finally, in about 200 CE, a Christian teacher in Egypt, as we've come to find, and brothers said there earlier, Egypt did an excellent job of updating and bringing forward from Zoroaster and Mesopotamia up to, and Egypt makes reference to the day Jesus was allegedly born. According to Clement of Alexandria, several different days had been proposed by various Christian groups. Surprising as it may seem, Clement doesn't mention December the 25th at all. Clement writes, there are those who have determined not only the year of our Lord's birth, but also the day. And they say it took place in the 28th year of Augustus and the 25th day of the Egyptian month, here we go, Pashon, P-A-C-H-O-O-N, which is May the 20th in our current Gregorian calendar. And treating of his passion with very great accuracy, some say it took place in the 16th year of Tiberius, all right, on the 25th of Faminoth, which is March the 21st, and others on the 25th of Farmuthi, which is April the 21st. Yeah, April the 21st is the 25th of Farmuthi. And others say that on the 19th of Farmuthi April the 15th, Claudio, the Saviour suffered. Further, others say that he was born on the 24th or 25th of Farmuthi, April 20 or 21. I'm getting to the end, thank you. Clearly, there was a great uncertainty, but also a considerable amount of interest in dating JC's birth. In the late 2nd century, all right, roughly there. By the 4th century, however, we find references to 2 dates that were widely recognized and now also celebrated as JC's birthday. December the 25th in the Western Roman Empire, and January the 6th in the East, especially in Egypt and Asia Minor. The modern Armenian Church continues to celebrate Christmas on January the 6th. For most Christians, however, December the 25th would prevail, whilst January the 6th eventually came to be known as the Feast of Epiphany, commemorating the arrival of the Magi, Magi following the stars, the 3 wise men, etc. That's who the link for the Magi in your minds are, in Bethlehem. The period became the holiday season, later known as the 12 days of Christmas. On the first day of, and etc. The rhyme and song we've got there. This last little bit here for you. The earliest mention of December the 25th as Jesus' birthday comes from mid-4th century Roman almanac that lists the death dates of various Christian bishops and martyrs. House martins, martyrs. Oh, that word interests me. Martyrs, M-A-R-T-Y-R-S, and martins, cats, etc. Catholics, just make a note there, scribes. The first date listed, December the 25th, is marked Natus Christus in Bethlehem, Judea. Christ was born in Bethlehem of Judea, allegedly in about 400 CE. Augustine of Hippo mentions a local dissident Christian group, the Donatists, who apparently kept Christmas festivals on December the 25th, but refused to celebrate the Epiphany on January the 6th, regarding it as innovation. Since the Donatist group emerged during the persecution under the Diocletian in 312 CE, and then remained attached to the practices, blah, blah, blah. I'll leave it there. You've both got that, and that's page 5. Just page 5 read out for you there to give you dates, times, and different things that scholars have found in antiquities that also tie up to the planet, as well, and the celestial luminary lines. And you've got, let me just go for, just before I yield, the statue of Jesus and Mary could also be Horus and Isis. I yield.
Thanks for that, David. Lots to take in there for people who might not have heard any of that before. Carry on, Claudio.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And the documents available for reference into anybody that wants it. It's on Facebook for free on our SPL's group, and it's on the .com, and it's in your email box to share as you wish. All right, you too. Yeah.
Shall I put it in the description of this hangout?
Whatever, yeah, it's for all to see and share. It's not our work. It's a collection of what we've had to do to use as a narrative timeline. I have a 6000 BC to 2020 timeline of various stuff as well in like 6 editions. So we've done a lot of digging, and this has helped us archaeologically, go through the lineage of what's been claimed and what is, and then how to work out Israel and its, and lineage and this story, the world's greatest story. Let me tell you a tale of a snake. The Bible is allegedly known as the world's greatest story, which is quite stark in comparison to a factual historical event. So share away, my sister and brother. I yield.
Thank you, David. Claudio?
That is absolutely amazing. I really look forward to looking at that chronology. Just from a couple notes that I made while you were reading that, Dave, which is beautiful. It's invigorating, enlightening, and when you understand the premise and it all fits with the premise that you've learned, then you can see it, and it's absolutely amazing, and I'm so invigorated with that. The first thing you said was the partial lamb, which we know that's the lamp. It's the light. It's the white light was sacrificed, right? The Passover is passing over the river of heaven, which all the planets are doing right now. The Bible is a physics and metaphysics book. That's what it was originally written for. And physics meaning how the white light works, and metaphysics, the story about and how it's more like proof. metaphysics, which is the self that we think is not ourself, right? I mean, sorry, the self, what not self is. So, and then when you're giving off all those dates, May 20th, April 15th, December 25th, January 5th, those are all dates that make a lot of sense. It's all with the stars, and it has to do with precession. The 12 days of Christmas is really the zodiac, which rises a Christ within, right? Through our 12 zodiac signs. And that, I mean, we learned that from Santo. So everything you're doing fits 100% with truth. It's invigorating, and I thank you for that.
For people listening in, we're supposed to be here right now like this. That's what you're saying, isn't it?
100%. 100%. It's happening. It's angels are driving.
Brighton. This was supposed to happen.
It's written in the stars. It's written, our destiny is written in the stars. The prophecy is being fulfilled, and the legacy is for us to create now, I believe. And right. where you've said, what did you say? Wait a minute. Lambs. Think of palms. It's a reword. The lambs, and you can make palms as well, yeah. And the palms, hold the palms up.
Right. Remember that every letter is a word, and we know that. So every letter is a word, and that's why the confusion. You can make the same vibration with 4 different letters. But
oh my goodness! Do you know what? Just saying that, right? This is something completely different. I was watching Elizabeth I, and Queen Mary of Scots was the first person supposedly with like espionage, and she worked out this whole way of talking to someone, and it was the same thing. Each letter was a word, and that was in the 1500s. Just thought that was interesting. It's on. I watched it. You know, she made this whole thing up, and basically wanted her to say to kill the queen, and supposedly she did, and then she was beheaded later on. But that's very interesting because each letter was a word. Well, we'll never know quite what it is, because that's where I think something happened to us right there, because Edward IV, Henry VII, Henry VIII, Queen Victoria I, that's in our country. Edward VII was a different family, and then come the Tudors, which is Henry VII, Henry VIII, Queen Elizabeth I. And I mean, look at the clothes they're wearing. Just look at what they're wearing. But something happened then, because Edward IV, I think it was Edward IV, he was illegitimate. He never should have come to the throne. And the real King of England lives in Australia. Should have been the Plantagenets line, and they didn't. So who is ever now should never be there. Crazy that, isn't it? But the same thing was happening then. But anyway, totally different thing, I know, but I just wanted to bring that in. But anyway, carry on. Sorry, Claudio.
Can I comment just before Claudio goes? And what you've said there, what you've both said there, is reminded me of the Egyptian hieroglyph. You get the bird, the pyramid, the eye. One picture is a word. It can be a sentence. It can be extrapolated many ways. But you have pictographs, and you have hieroglyphs, petroglyphs as well. And this is where you're making me think now that the design or picture or drawing on the surfaces, they were usually rocks and stones, not paper. You know, before we had the creation of written language and so forth, they believed to be the earliest form in development of writing, pictography, I suppose, in non-verbal. We would say there's no verbs there, is what you're using. There's no, you see, they wrote the scriptures and he took out the vowels, David, Hebrew, DVD, you know, so interesting. Just thought I'd add that. Thank you.
Yeah, we're learning minds, aren't we? So someone says something and it makes you think of something else. Thank you, David. Claudio, sorry, I cut Claudio off, but I just found it very interesting when he said letters are word, you know, like really mean a word. And that was happening with Queen Mary the Scots. And there's all sort of weird around then, because none of them should have been in anyway. It should have been this person who's in Australia right now. He should be the King of England. I mean, how can that happen?
Bloodlines. That's bloodlines. Bad bloodlines. Enki, Enlil, many bloodlines through the ages, fighting for the titles too, whether it be honourable, conscious, or unconscionable and ill-gotten. So there could be some factions of ancient bloodlines still, possibly, in my opinion, not Enoch, but Enki, Enlil, such things as what we're finding, given different names in the Bibles, going way back from before the Bible. So, yeah, I feel that. But modern day has a hard time transcribing it into, or relating it into what's going on now and why and where from. Yeah, they're not just randoms, are they? It's there's bloodlines. We can see the Rothschilds, the Rockefeller, the Windsor, the Battenberg, the Arab, Dubai bloodlines. All of them, you know, there's famous bloodlines there. Red and blue blood, red and blue realm, blue blood, red blood, you know. So I note that too. I see that, and I'll yield and let Claudio come back.
Yeah, come back, Claudio.
Yes. So
where is he?
The only people that ever are on a throne is a mother, right? If you look at the Dendera in Egypt, and the story of the mother that's sitting on the H, which is the eighth letter, and the eighth letter is infinity, and that's the Ouroboros, the snake eating its tail. So we get to stay here for infinite rebirths if we so choose to always go towards the light and to manifest and to want things and to want materialistic things. So all those people that are sitting on a throne are so not illuminated. They're so greedy. They're so lost. And this is the time where they're going to have a rebirth. And when they come back, they'll be with, I don't know what kind of karma, because there's always karma coming up.
Can I just say something? We shouldn't be, I don't know, I've got this book up here called Two Hearts Are Better Than One. And in it says, we shouldn't be frightened of the money thing. You can have it both. You can have the money and the love. You marry them together. You know, in one sense, you wouldn't sell yourself for $1 million. So you're already, or pounds, you're already a millionaire in worth to start with. But we should marry them together. You can have them both. It's just how we're dealing with it. We're becoming, you know, it's dog eat dog rather than working out who you are and etc. like that. That's what I think. We should be able to have both of them together, but it's just the way that it's been done. Sorry, you probably won't agree with me. Probably won't agree.
I don't agree with that, because so long as there's something to take from somebody else, there's people out there that'll take it.
Do you want me to read this passage from this book to tell you what it says? I'll read it to you. Let me just get my book. I really love this book. It just has this end. Wrong book. It has there it is. It has a different ending at each chapter, and this guy's talking. I'll read it to you. Tell me what you think. Right, let me just find it. 2 seconds. That one. Just got to find it. Sorry. We're on a hangout and I'm dithering. That one's Don't Get Married. We're not on that one. This book, I've kept this book for years. Oh, here it is. Money. Tell me what you think of this. It's a little bit long. It will take me a few minutes to read it, but it says money is energy in motion. Money is a medium of exchange. The way you handle money in a relationship is usually a perfect mirror of the way you handle the relationship itself. Do you hold back in giving money to your partner, or are you generous? Do you trust and give, take? Do you keep score on how much you give and how much you receive? And is it an emotional balance of a function of the difference? Love and money tend to be separate in our minds, and we need to marry the two in our hearts. After all, the language of love and the language of money have many common terms. How much you are worth to yourself is a question that can apply to your financial worth or your self-esteem. How much do you appreciate or value yourself is another similar question. In fact, you're already in possession of something more valuable than all the money in the world, and that is life itself. You would not trade your life for $1 million, which means you're already a millionaire in worth. It's important to stop and acknowledge this, because it is from love of life itself that all our riches spring forth. The more you are grateful for life, the more life gives you to be grateful for. Clear your mind of all your negative thoughts about money. If you think money corrupts, think about all the corrupt poor people and realize that corruption comes from within, not without. If you think that it's better to give than receive, don't be surprised at your bank statement at the end of the month. Your thoughts about money produce results about money, so make sure your results are consistent with your heart's desire. If not, you're free to change your mind. In a relationship, things are easiest when both people take responsibility for the whole, not just the halves. This is true financially as well as emotionally. When each person can support the whole relationship and you have the basis of becoming wealthy together, there is no good reason on earth why a successful relationship should not be reflected materially. The world of spirit and the world of matter need to be bridged, not severed. The material kingdom is not a distraction from spiritual growth. It is the arena in which we clearly measure our growth. It is my firm belief that a couple who surrender to the full expression of their personal union will eventually experience benefits in all areas of life. You can have it all together, so choose to play the love and money game as a team. I just thought that was quite, I don't know, this book is just amazing. Yeah. What did you think of that?
For me, then.
What did you think?
Can I go first?
Go on then.
I'll start because the ones that know me, my scribes, and the ones that have heard me before will expect me to say money's backed by something of intrinsic value. So those that are in the knowledge and know where I come from and that know about the transfer bills, charges, what a true bill is, the bills of exchange, the monetary mechanics. I say this with that in mind, that money is something that is backed by something of intrinsic value. Okay, so we're currently in chapter 11 bankruptcy, everybody, since mid-18s and 1900s here in UK. And because we're in chapter 11 bankruptcy, we pass these notes around that come from the Bank of England. They're called promissory notes, and that's the money, all right, in our wallets. But money, as I'll say it slowly and again, is something that is backed by something of intrinsic value. So the UK stamps that you buy from the post office are backed either by silver or gold. I'm not sure at this moment what it is. But when we put a stamp onto a notice that we use to the courts and to appoint trustees in their fiduciary capacity, we will not only autograph it, but the lack of the signature means there's a lack of value, because a signature is a legal monetary addition, and it's called an equitable asset. And man affixes the equitable asset in place of money or to contract financially, publicly, commercially, and be legally liable for all charges upon that signature that's affixed there. So that signature is equitable. Equitable is an area that we find the value in, not in promissory notes. So we have money and love. I'm getting to the point, hear me out. I just want to give some others a little taste of where we come from and why. So these monies that we have, monies, pennies, notes in our wallet, I promise to pay the bearer on demand the sum of. They are called promissory notes, and they're not cash, they're not money. They are credits, if you like, and promises. They're debt notes. They are actually negative amounts. And if you're telling me there's a book there that somebody's worked out that you can work out if you love your missus, from my point of view, man to woman, wife, or girlfriend, if you give them money. Because money is an expression of love. Yes, and why is that? Well, I say that it allows you to get access. It allows you to do many things. So your wants, wishes, and desires for the heart can be done with access to money. If you wanted to help somebody, you can help them if you've got access to money. So money is not evil. No, I will second that. It's not. It's an energy source. Credit. We're not going to get deep into it now, but that is a nice little clever psychological comparison to how you would gauge if you love. But then again, using love and money, is that a fair scale for summarization and evaluation? Love on one side and money on the other. Those things, like in the same sentence, should never be mixed, maybe. But without being pedantic, yes, that is a nice, quick, surefire, on the outside way of looking at something to get a snapshot. And I would argue that that's quite a good book there. You've probably learned quite a bit from it, and have a chat with us later on, and further works of monetary mechanics and the way that it works would then enlighten you further. So I know the mechanics, but I don't know that book, but I can imagine that I'd get some satisfaction from reading that, and it would help me in some ways,
It's called Two Hearts Are Better Than One. Do you want to hear one more paragraph? I think this is amazing. I almost know it off by heart. It says, love can be a terrifying prospect. This is the very first chapter, at the end of the first chapter. On one hand, we want it more than anything else, and on the other hand, it brings up anything unlike itself, and often we want to run away from the dark side of falling in love. Falling in love is not the answer, because falling for someone is usually the expression of a hopeless longing to have someone take care of you forever, which is not what great relationships are made of. Rising in love is a much better solution. When two people who love themselves choose to be together, there is twice as much love for each of them. Most relationships begin unconsciously, and when the conception of anything is off, how can the fruition be anything but flawed? So the first step is to get clear in what you want so you recognise it when it comes along. Your mind is so accustomed to what it doesn't want that it has to be trained to see what it really desires but is unaccustomed to receiving. The second step is, once you attract that perfect partner, is to sit down and tell each other all your fears. Get through the terror fast, allow the love to replace the fear, and build the habit of telling the truth from the first day of your relationship. And I also think that fits in with friendships as well. Friendships and relationships, to tell the truth. And we're not used to doing that, are we? Telling the truth.
Oh, sorry, I try my best, but there are little times where we have to admit for the betterment of, I don't know, little white lies, I suppose. But what you've said there about the fallen, I would just say that I've mentioned that in that page. Let me get the mic a bit closer. Got family activity in the kitchen. Let me get out. That reference of fallen angels, fallen, you have elders, the Elohim, elders, and godlike consciousness, and fallen is fallen angels. Fallen's quite a bad. That man's made a good connection there, I'd say. That fallen.
The only way you're going to get there, though, is if you know who you are as a person. And unfortunately, that's what happens in this world. Most people don't know who they are. They haven't worked themselves out. Lots of stuff has happened to them when they're children, whatever it is, and they carry that with them, and they live like a 3-year-old inside. That's what happens. But that book, I just love that book. I was into, before where I am now, I was into psychology. And that book I just love that book. There's a story, obviously, that he's telling, but at the end of each chapter, there's one of these things. Be married first before you get married. Don't get married. You're married first, or don't get married. There's just so many good things.
Hey, hang on. I've done that with Anne-Marie, haven't I? I've told everybody we are man and wife under God. We haven't legally certified it and signed for it and put in the contract and the deal, but we've proclaimed in front of God and to our family and scribes that she's my wife under the Creator, and we've made a promise to each other. We've made a private agreement, and that stands, as she's my queen in some respects and of the realm, and I'm her king. And I've done that with Anne-Marie, but we haven't legally gone to tie the knot. So we are in love, and we haven't fallen ones. And I like where you're going with that. But Claudio, what do you say?
That writer is very, 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 very good. Like 99, I'm going to say 99%. I'm in agreement. The only 1%, which I think is very huge, is the money. Because if you understand what we're capable of doing with our moon eye, which is money, and we're chasing a false idol with money, our moon eye and the ability that we have and are going to have after this event that's happening.
It should have just been an exchange of medium, shouldn't it? But unfortunately, for a lot of people, it's the most important thing is money. But it's not. It's just an exchange of medium.
Crack cocaine. Sorry. Yeah.
So the thing is that you get to manifest your world. If you envision your world with money in it, somebody else is envisioning they're going to take it. And if you're, you know what I'm saying? So money is a false idol. You have the ability to manifest your world in a beautiful way in which it will follow. So I'm on the fence on whether we're all living in the same world and we stay in the same world, or we all go our own separate ways in our own world and with our manifestations. So I'm visualizing our world, because we are all going to be in our world, that it's going to be beautiful, and it has abundance. The world has the abundance to supply everybody with everything. We don't need exchange. The only reason why we needed exchange at that time is because of the Great Flood, putting us on this turtle island, or whatever you want to call it, on this earth.
Taxes.
The thing is that somebody wanted to do nothing, and those became the kings and the queens, and they wanted everybody to serve them. They're thinking that they're God and we're serving that God, but really we should be serving each other as a whole with what nature gives us, and then we will have nothing to do but hang around and talk. There is no reason for barter systems. You can take the 7 billion people in this world, and there's 6 billion acres in just North America alone. Listen to those numbers. There's 6 billion people, 6 billion acres in North America and 7 billion people. So you can take away the mountains and places where you probably couldn't live. You can give everybody a quarter acre to a half an acre each and just live in North America and let the rest of the world grow in abundance and deliver to us. Or we can go all over the place and let Mother Nature take care of itself, permaculture-wise, and we have abundance. There is no need for money. We're chasing the wrong idol. If we visualize the world like I'm saying, it's going to go there anyway. So the faster it will come for you is when you manifest that you want to be part of that world. It will come to you faster. But if we want to live in these concrete jungles where people are stealing from each other, then we'll live it longer because it's going to be okay for you. But at the same time, those are coming down too. It can't be any other way. And that's why we're going through this Lent period, because we're chasing false idols. We're watching men and women on TV. We shouldn't be watching them. We should be manifesting our beautiful world.
So doing the work. We're doers of the work, aren't we?
The money is the root of all evil because we're chasing that instead of letting Mother Nature take care of us. Man has gotten so high in himself that he thinks he can control Mother Nature. It's an absolute possibility because Mother Nature, we're all on a leash. And the leash is
because we can't create any of that. We can't just create water, mountains. Those things are here. They're here. They're here on this place we live.
Absolutely. I want to share a specific link from Hangman 1128, and you'll see that the mountains really were trees. It's invigorating. It's beautiful. That's why they used to always measure in arm lengths, because it's the theory of incommensurability, Plato's divided line. We get bigger, we get smaller, until we learn to hatch this egg. There is no need for money. The people that are greedy want to take everything and then ask people work for them so they can have a piece of it. Whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it. Taxes, bills, whatever. All that stuff. It's man's greed. And so long as you have something tangible, instead of, I know I've said it before, you get a grocery cart, you go in line, and you pull out your wallet, and you think that you're giving your wealth away from your wallet. The wealth is in the cart. Why are we building roads to farms when the farm should be we should be in amongst the farms, in amongst the permaculture gardens that will provide for us forever? But man and women have become so reliant on a system so they can be the kings and queens sitting on their butts, lying in their king-size beds, having a throne to shit and piss in, because they want to be kings and queens because that's what's been portrayed to us on TV. Yet the whole world can provide for us for free. So no, we don't need money, and money is an evil and it's a false idol. So yes, there should be a barter system for now to get out of this, and there should be never profit again, ever. Because profit,
just to say, Claudio, that guy wrote this probably in the it's book by, let me just tell you who wrote it. It's called
he's beautiful. Everything he says is good, except that he's trying to balance money in there because he probably didn't realize that we can manifest our way out of this.
That we're living in, isn't it? In this book, that's the world we're living in. It is Robert Stevenson Mandel. This book was written in, oh my goodness, 1943.
You realize we're
1986. Sorry, there was information for 1943, but 1986. So
yeah, it's beautiful. No, he's a very smart man, But knowing what we know today on how that whole money thing became our idol, and that's what we idolize because we think we can't do anything without it. What do you do when you open up an avocado?
Program, even like like you're watching Pop Idol, or I can't think what they're called now. Oh my goodness, Britain's Got Talent and all that. You're always looking at things that you can never have. Like they're getting a contract for thousands and thousands of pounds. We won't get that. We're looking at other people getting the money. And then we want what they've got.
Right. I don't let that stuff get into my eyes anymore. Because when
no,
you
I'm
imagine
just saying that's the way the world's being portrayed, isn't it? That's how it's being portrayed.
I agree with you. I was talking to the audience, not to you, right? So the thing is that we get to manifest what we want. And that's the light part, and that's the Lucifer part, and that's the devil part, okay? We get to manifest what we want. That's our choice. That's the yang part. The yin is connected. We're on a leash with the yin. The black is the yin, and we're connected to that. And the leash has already started to rewind back in. We come out of the dark ages, Pisces, and now we're into Aquarius. So we've turned the corner. We're the dog running around the peg, and now it's pulling us back in. All right? So we're being pulled back in. We're going through baptismal right now. We're supposed to open our eyes to the things that we wanted that we shouldn't want. Because if you still want, then you're the Ouroboros, and you're the head of the snake biting its tail so we can stay alive, so we can stay here in this materialistic realm. That's what we're supposed to learn. No, I want to go back to Eden, man. I want to go back to Eden and then rise up and then be in bliss, whatever you want to call it. But no, we choose.
You know what? We're not told the truth from the beginning, are we? We're led through this global world that doesn't exist. That's the saddest part for everybody, that people just don't know the truth about where we live. So we don't know who we are and where we are.
What if that was all part of the angel experience that we're supposed to experience, which I truly believe? Actually, I know. I can say I know, because when you look at all the planets and what's happening, it's 100% by design. We're here to get a lesson. We're here to go through these experiences so we can now learn what we're not supposed to do. This is a cleansing. We're being baptized right now. Isn't baptismal a cleanse? It's a cleanse of all the things we're not supposed to do. And the thing you're not supposed to do is want material things that serve nothing, and wanting money.
Is that because you're talking about, like, consciousness? You're talking of the consciousness, which is here and now stuff. Is that what you're talking about? As human beings, all we've got is what we've got now.
Well, we've always had it, but now it's being illuminated, right? Because we're coming out of the dark ages. We're coming out of Pisces, our feet, into Aquarius. So we're going to continue this Christ within, raising Cristo, the oil, like Santos talks about. And he's a very smart man. It's happening now, though. People are missing that. People are missing that Eris is the Madonna. The sun is the sun. And it's happening. And this is the Lent. And we're supposed to cleanse right now. We're supposed to be fasting. And the fasting is supposed to be about material things and wants. You can't even go outside.
What did you say? Quarantine 40 Italiano, right. Dates and times, and yeah.
Right. So quarantine is 40, and 40 means 40, in the 40 days of Lent. And I've shown the sunspots that happen from Eris. She exists. And that's the little black hole. If you study Ken Wheeler, you'll know that point source is ether. It's etheric. Black is etheric. That's why when we look into each other's eyes, we're looking into each other's souls. It's 100% truth. Those are little vortexes, so to speak, in physics terms. And I remember when my mom passed away, she died with her eyes open, and I stared right down into her black eyes, like the middle pupil, and I spoke with her and spoke with her and spoke with her. Well, guess what? She started speaking to me back, and I got tons of stories and truths. I have apparitions that all people get. No one's special. Everybody can have them. As soon as you tune in, you'll get them. They come to me in very many different ways. They come as animals. They come as insects. They come as the wind blowing, right? And they come in cloud formations to teach you, because they can. Because they're very powerful.
Well, because we're not in touch with ourselves enough with where we live, you mean? If we, I have a fairy deck, a tarot deck, and in it was basically saying, you're not listening to the trees rustling, you're listening to the television. It's the wrong vibration. Right. You're listening to the nature.
That's chasing the false idol. And now people, and for the people that are very religious, so to speak, and are following the Bible, you're doing the right thing, but it's just got a twist in the wrong direction. Okay? If you want to call it God, if you want to call God made the stars, Yes, he did. So don't think astrology is not good, because astrology is what we are, who we are. The man who's greedy has misinterpreted that book so that we have a really, 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 really good lesson to learn about man, money, manifestations, greeds, wants, forms, feelings, all the words that Ken Wheeler, go look at his metaphysics writings. It's really deep, really simple. His documents, he wants to prove to all the Buddhists who aren't doing it right, because the Buddhists now think there's no soul, okay? So it's a little bit difficult to read only because he puts the passages in between, but if you just skip over those and read the English and not his proof of why, because he's got to do that for these scholars, when you read through it really quickly, you're going to get the message, and the message is very beautiful. It is really beautiful. And during this Lent, we should be doing nothing but that. That's why I devoted my time to that, because I know what this Lent is about. This Lent is not about researching. I mean, we've done all this research. David, I've done some. I understand the whole money system. I've studied common law. I've studied the international covenants. I've studied all that stuff. But this Lent now is about you and what you are doing to become more connected with spirit, with the soul, with God, whatever you want to call it, with the universe, right? So it's really important that you spend this time before Easter to dedicate some of your time to learn about the self, the true self, and the not true self, which we think we are, right? We've been embodied. We're spirit. And we came in, like my wife always said, we're spirits here having a human experience. There's a lot of truth to that when I first met her. There's a lot of truth to that. So
temporal. We have a temporal existence. I've been waiting patiently to say something. I need to go back, if I may. Just pin it, brother.
I'm done.
Yeah? Is that okay?
Go for it, David.
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Absolutely.
When he was on money and he was talking about the energy and stuff, my brain was telling me, in reference to a video I did a little while ago, Mon. Man needs to probably look at going from Mon, M-O-N, to M-A-N, and womb man. But we have a monastery, we have a monarchy, and we've got the mono-Sibyllic language that we've encompassed and found. When they got the Mon, you sparked it off with Monai, Moonai, your Moonai for the Monai, and the Mons that we have. If you do a search on any non-Google search engine and look at the words that begin with Mon, you will find a lot. You can pick and look, just scan the list and look at the monetary, monetization, and Mons, and singular, mono, sodiums, and monatomic gold, a chemical side of it, the atomic side of it, and then the etymological side, false gods and idol and worship. Yeah, the dollar bill. There you go. And it's amazing, that pathway you just spark. That's all I want to say, that you are right there, where I've said, I'm not backtracking. I've explained money and credits and love and everything like that. And money is, it's an interesting, and when you say money, you need to know which bit you're on about, but access to and credits, this Mon and one, and the way that it's set up. I thought we was in a duality. So why is one, Monday is the one day, Sunday, and the incorrect Sabbath that we have in calendars. But sticking to what you said, you and sister there, and what she said with the readings from that book, we need to look at then the Mons in the world. And guess what? Monster is the one that stuck out of all them words in that list of Mon. Do you know which one slapped David in the face? Monster. And I was like, well, you're only a monster unless you commit a monstrous act. And they've somehow, families and bloodlines, various, known as Cabal and Jesuits, top ones, have tricked us from the natural, is it duality? I'd argue it's bigger than duality, more than two, but, quantum and that. But they will say duality, north and south. But we might be in a monopole world. You know why it might be all Mon? If we're on if we imagine a flat disk, and we imagine that there's a center, and that's the center pole, and compasses only point north, they won't point south. And if we believe the south pole is a fact, a wall that goes 360 around us, then we're in a mono existence, and we've been told we're in a duality, but yet we use language of Mon. So, and I'll leave it there. It's kind of apparent what I've said, where I think
is that what the parallel universe is all about?
And I'll just say then I'll say, after all of that, and for those that you follow, parallel universe, wait there, you're not, yes.
Sorry.
Bipolar is where I now want to leave it. Bipolar would mean we have a north and a south, the brain left and the right, the hemispheres of the globe, hemispheres of the brain, the cerebrum, the Sarah Abraham, Mon, and that all came from. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm following, and I appreciate what you're saying. And I just wanted to add in. I'm ever so sorry for butting in, but I've written some notes and I was holding it because if I had said it later, it wouldn't have fitted in because Claudio was going on with another direction. So there you go. That's my offerings. Thank you.
Okay, so if you look at the letters now, because every letter is a word, that's where the Mona comes in, right? The M-O-N and the M and the N are in the middle. The M and the N are in the middle of the circle. They're the 13th letter of both sides. And the 13th.
I remember, bro. Yeah, monkey, I thought, but go on. Sorry.
Yeah, the monkey, right. So the M and N are in the middle. So that's the dot. That is Eris in the middle of the sun. That's the black hole sun, okay? Where everything, all the best communications come from. So the M and N in the middle, that's why there's a moon, right? There's a double O there, and a double O there to me is I don't like using the word duality, but it's the connection of the one and the one, right? There's a zero, the one, and the one. So you got the M, the N, and then you've got the omega. So there's an alpha and the omega, and that's what gives you the Mona, the Mona Lisa, the moon, the common law, moon eye, the eye of the moon in the middle of the circle. So it all relates to that. So when we use words, we're not doing justice to what the reality of the glyphs mean. And I keep getting all these really, really insightful things about the letters wrapped around there, like the I and the J. I gotta put it in words. It came to me last night. I can't go into it right now, but it's the I and the J are basically the one and the one. You notice you have the drop of water. When you put a drop of water into a pond, that one little dot comes up, that's the I. And then there's a J. So you got the one that's attached to the absolute, and one that is the one that has choice. One is the black, one is the white. So I'm going to be deciphering what those two mean, because those exist around the first 6. The 21st number around the Fibonacci sequence is a 6. That's when we become a man. And that's right there between the I and the J. So that's a separation between both the spiritual and the material. So when you wrap those letters around that circle of 60, there is huge, huge meaning to it. So that is done by God, by the universe, of God, whatever. That's all creation, emanationism, whatever you want to call it, because there's people calling it so many different things. But just know that when we try to decipher a word, you're supposed to split it down. You're supposed to split it down to each letter. And that's where we go. So money has become something that we should have all been chasing, the moon key in the middle. But somehow it became, hey, let's call that money because you can manifest. Well, people manifested dollars, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't really matter now to me because I know that I'm being taken care of. No matter what happens, when that account gets low, right? Something happens. Something happens in my life. So I'm being provided for because I know what I know and I am connecting with spirit. And that's all they want. And when you connect with your higher self, true self, the self, whatever you want to call it, then they take care of you. They'll give you signs. And that's what this 40 days is about, is to listen to the signs. You'll be given them. But if we're going to chase money, if we're going to chase the TV, if we're going to chase all these false things and not realize what's really happening in the sky that God created, and that's for the people that read the Bible. You read the Bible and you read the stars and they're exactly the same. There's 12 apostles. There's 12 zodiac signs. Well, that's like Santos done it best. He's done so many. If people don't know Santos Bonacci, start going to read his works and look for the ones where he talks about the Bible and astrology. They're a perfect fit. You've all seen The Last Supper by You've all seen the Last Supper by Da Vinci, and that is 100% the zodiac. Everything that he's done is all about astrology, which is astrologos, which is the stars, and it's invigorating. So this is the time we're supposed to be learning what we can about ourselves, love one another. You don't have to go study your chart if you don't want to. If you say, I don't chase money and I know God's going to take care of me, you're halfway there. Just know that you need to learn a little bit more about what you're going to chase when you pass. If you're going to chase the light, then you're coming back. If you don't chase the light and you understand all this, then you get to ascend and stay there and be there with the absolute. So I'll stop there.
I was just cooking myself something to eat and got the sink going. We have been going for about an hour and 15, 20 minutes. Do you think we should just go on like, because obviously people only listen for so long, and I hope that people have been very interested in listening to what you've been saying, because this is will help you through what's happening now, hopefully. But I just wondered, like, maybe, I don't know, you say 5-minute talk each or something about what we've been talking about, the roundup. What do you reckon, guys?
Sounds great.
Or do you want to go on a bit longer? Yeah, that's okay then. Well, should we go to David and then back to you, Claudio?
Sure.
David,
your turn.
Yeah, no. All right, that sounds good. Yeah, I've got a bit to do today as well, admin emails, and we'll see. But the dollar, did you look at the dollar as a snake with the twin pillars of the temple, the K? So I see dollar sign, could be a snake, an S, or a snake and then the K, a twin pillars, the temporal realm that we are in. I am of this realm, but I am no part of it because I do not act. My person I do not respect, in some ways. So, yeah, it's interesting. The dollar could be looked at as an S, letter, S, symbology, shape, and letter of snake, sun, syrup, many things, but the symbology as we've come to know it, it's half of an 8. The S also can be an incomplete infinity loop, half of an infinity as well, so half of a job. Many different ways of looking at it, but the dollar sign symbol, like the pound sign, a little squiggle with the 2 wavy lines across it, horizontally as opposed to vertically, like the dollar going straight down. So money, energy, love, it's very, very closely related, but ultimately money and love, credits and love shouldn't be mixed together like other certain sentences we have. So Claudio's got a very astute way of explaining and balancing up, and I can't really argue with what he said or falter with it. I like the comparisons, and I can see and I enjoy where he takes us, and often I will agree, or you'll know if I don't, and I'll say so. This chat has encompassed quite a bit, a varied amount. We are very dexterous and we are quite flexible, all of us. So I know this other guest should have been here today, and we'll rain check that for another day. But it's still been an excellent chat, and I think it is information.
In all the time that you've been talking, we've all been talking about this is going to be happening, but it's here and it's now. It's happened. It didn't happen the way you thought it was.
Yeah,
but it's happened. So we're here with this knowledge.
We prepared for Brexit, didn't we? 3.5 years ending of it, October 19. And to be fair, I started putting cartons of milk and bits of things away in October 19. And they're there now still. And Anne-Marie was, but that's by the by. We have been prepared. We, like the scriptures say, those that are in the, like you've just said, Claudio's just said, and emanated with where we are, those that are in the Gospels and the scriptures, and not just Christian, all of the realms, continents, fables and myths and so forth, they get warned, and then the warning comes, and the ones that listen move, and the ones that don't end up underwater, or floods or muds or quakes, or empires around the realm that were in their heyday that we've seen, and then they just disappeared, gone, vanished, kaput. I don't know how, I don't know why, but according to the prophecies, the scriptures and the Gospels and the books and the antiquities, going 6,000 Zoroaster and Zoroastrianism, and then we've got Göbekli Tepe busting it all to 12,000, they say, BC. So, yeah, they do get flooded. And Noah, Enoch, the scripts and the books and the things that we've mentioned in the text, is warned by his granddad Enoch, and allegedly 12,000. We mentioned this right at the beginning of the chat, I remember. And you said 6,000, and I was like, yeah, allegedly 12,000 BC was the flooding of and the ark and the story of. So Abrahamic tribes and resets and floods, and you know what we're all doing here. We are all playing a key part. Key, moon key, monkey, key. Everybody you meet, every soul you encounter, I believe, is a key to your soul. And if you interact with them and you respect them, then they unlock a part of your soul, and you grow, and you unlock a part of their soul, and you grow. And then eventually, when we do this enough, we understand a bit more about the family, the realm, love, money, hate, and anger. And these keys lead to secrets, and these secrets lead to souls, and these souls will lead to abundance and protection and loss of fear. It's a delicate journey, and what you are told is going to benefit you in this realm generally will kill you legally. And legal is the undoing of God or the creator, you know, the positive natural. Let's keep away from the Bible. Let's just say positive natural laws of universal. And that's where Claudio, sorry, I know I say your name wrong.
No,
is coming in, and
right.
Santo.
You say it right. You say in Italian. It's okay.
It's all right. It's really bad with the dyslexia in the English, the Italian, and yeah. But thank you, brother. You have got a good, on point, calm. And when I see them numbers and I see that key, I'm leading, I'm closing down. When I saw that key of this man's, and I was like, holy, this is going to take some doing. But let's have a look. Let me see what I can see. What's going on? And when I asked him about the 40 and certain bits on the first time I saw that key, I was dancing with joy inside, because I would never have worked that out. I haven't got the time, the inclination, nor the knowledge. And somebody else comes along and presents their work and their findings, and you look at that, and I just soaked it up like a sponge, and I still haven't 100%. But what I see there is another part of the compass to lead you out of the slavery realm, or the legal undoing, you know, God's work, creators. And yeah, we are. This year is the last year. I yield.
Thank you, David. Claudio, your turn.
All righty. Well said, brother. Well said. And I got to premise my last few minutes here with that. I don't dream. I get some things on my own, but mostly it always comes from guidance from whether it's a brother or sister like Santos, Ken Wheeler, and so many people. And like you said, you always get something from somebody. Like today, I've made notes, things that Karen said, things that Dave said. We all say things to help better each other. And when we know and understand that, we grow, and we grow quickly. So I love that. I want to just share an experience of what I had last night. So,
Claudio, you two are soldiers. I'm more the emotional world. Carry on.
Yeah. No, sister, I keep telling you, your job is to bring people together, and you're always doing things. Everything that everybody does, I want to call it job, sorry. Everything that everybody speaks, it's our soul speaking. Maybe there's a bunch of words that were taken out too. Don't forget, the words are sentences. They're not really words. The letters are the words. So we do all our best, but there's hidden messages in every voice that we talk to, whether we like them or dislike them. So I'm going to give you an example. So here's what happens with me. I get woken up, and it's happened so many times, and it's happened to me from years ago. And that's how I get my guidance. So I got up. I knew I had to get up. So I came downstairs. I go look outside. I always look outside. I always look outside first to see who's out there to maybe want to give me a lesson. Didn't really see anything. So came, I sat down, I did a bunch of things, and then went back, look outside, and then I can see Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn hanging in the sky. So beautiful. Never seen that before. Has it been there before? Is it brighter now? Not sure. But so I came back and said, okay, well, I looked and seeing, I think they're almost done jumping over the river of heaven. So you can watch that. So this whole shift, you can watch them sitting there on at the end of Sagittarius is the river of heaven. So I closed everything up. I'm about to go back upstairs, and I said, no, I'm not done yet. I knew I'm not done yet. So somebody's guiding me. So I go back and look, and I say, oh, Rasselhaug is in the sky. And I know Rasselhaug is Ophiuchus. Ophiuchus is a serpent bearer, and Rasselhaug is right basically at the head, almost at the third eye of Ophiuchus. So if you look at the glyph of Ophiuchus, the constellation, is a man holding a serpent, okay? And he's holding the head in one hand and the tail in the other, and it's apart. It's taken apart. So think about the Ouroboros, the head eating the tail. Ophiuchus is telling you, in order to get enlightened, illuminated, you must stop your wants. He's keeping the head and the tail from eating each other, or excuse me, the head from eating the tail. And the head eating the tail is us wanting. And the more we want, the more we come back and we get infinite rebirths. Lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson until we get it right. So that's what happens with me. They give me lessons that way. Here we are talking about the Ouroboros snake, devils in the tail, in the tail of the snake. Stop eating your own self, right? Because you keep coming back to this realm, world, earth, whatever you want to call it. And Ophiuchus's lesson to me last night was, here it is. Yeah, I know you already understand it, Claudio, but that's what I'm doing. And from up until now, I had no idea he's holding the head and the tail apart. So these are the things for us to sit back and think about this Lent and about the materialistic world. And how can we manifest as mini gods, young stars, whatever, which have the power of God, Christ within, to manifest what we want. And if we want a beautiful world and we want the house of cards to crumble, I don't even like saying the latter part there. I just want to visualize what our world's going to be like. And that's supposed to be our lesson. And for those that are exiting right now, is because they're not getting it and they're going to come back, which is okay. They're going to come back because we're infinite. We are infinite. We're not random.
It's about, like this hangout's going to work for people who want to listen. If you're not listening, you won't get the information.
And I truly believe those that need to find out will be guided to this. That's the way it works. Once you connect, it's okay. Once you connect, things will pop up in your screen. It's not by chance. It's not by chance at all. They're showing you what you want. You're going to get what you want. If you believe there's aliens, well, you're going to get things happening to you that, and you're believing all these different things. They will happen to you. After this little Lent period, and after this whole end of this 2-year cycle, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction that's happening, that ends at the end of this year, and all the beautiful things that start happening from the Annapurana, which is a timed cleanse, you'll know what's going on and you'll feel good about it and you will be guided. And then I'm done. Thank you very much.
Oh, Claudio, thank you so much for that. David, did you want to chime back in?
I will be quick. I know we're shutting down, but this man's on point. He's so on point, like he's got a battalion of 1 million initiates behind him, and we're all clinging onto his word here. Because what my mum used to listen to back in the day was Madonna. I remember all of the Madonna albums and her progression, and even Tears for Fears, Wham, Cliff Richard, No, Phil Collins, and Meatloaf, and The Police, and Sting. These kind of, Eagles, Hotel California, soundtrack to my childhood as a young boy, a young star. So Madonna, right, quickly, Material Girl. What she's done and how she's done it, falling down them stairs on that show some years ago. That was a public display about Madonna's statuses, I believe. Such things that have happened with the Vatican opening that tunnel, the Pope being at the tunnel in Switzerland, the ceremony of weirdness outside Hadron CERN, and the filmed alleged ritualistic things there. You're in the picture, Madonna, stars above. Who'd have thought it? Who would have thought there's a Madonna in the as above, so below? So what have they done below? They've emulated the Madonna, and they've done it bad. A material girl has been created to mislead us for the false idol. She's the false idol. Go to Madonna concert, mum, and worship your idol. Why don't you? Wow, this is all just at the end to go, bosh. Materialistic realms and Madonna right now. Hardcore researchers, you will be aware that there is allegedly a code been taken out of a recent Madonna track. I'm not going to tell it yet. I'm not allowed to because it's still up in the air. This is on the 4chan, Reddits, and other such, community networks. There's an alleged claim there's a coded message been taken out of a Madonna song. And I'll tell you both privately another time. Remind me. I'll send you the information. I haven't put it out public. I've kept this to myself. But as it's here, I think that the ones that research will know what has been said, what that verse is and what that code means. It's a bit like the Pizzagate. It's not nice. It's negative, dark, black, satanic, satanistic energy. Satanic, Satan, X marks the spot of the physical realm of doom. And that's all I'll say. Those that know will know what I'm on about with the code and the Q drops and the Madonna and the material. Claudio has put it so excellently in a metaphysical, esoteric way. I can't argue with what he's saying, and I can correlate to what's happening down here to there, correlating what's happening up there. And as of a month ago, no, 2 weeks ago, I've been following it about a month. It's come out and it's been redacted, and they've given the video clip on the other side of the web that we don't use, and it's come through to the light side, and it's being passed around now by Anons, QAnons, sovereigns, initiates, and the birds are chirping, and the song isn't too great. So with what this man said here, there will be others out there alongside myself, sister and brother, that are aware of the Madonna and the divine and the biblical references as well to the Madonna. All right, there's a Madonna there as well, isn't there? And certain holier than holies connected with it, above in the stars, and the artist itself. So yeah, I'll yield that. This has been brilliant, Ango podcast.
Can I just say
I'm
before what seems to me is that we've been totally miseducated about everything. When you step back, and people like Claudio and David, who have been researching and have masses of information, you'll see that what we're living in is something completely different. That's what I'm hoping, that this resonates with people, and that they, those that haven't started to research, start researching, because everything is completely different to you think. And hopefully Claudio and David have explained it a bit more today to everybody. So I thank you very much. And Claudio, David, and chat room. Anything else you want to say, guys?
Just love and peace to everybody. Thank you so much for your time, David, Karen, and anybody that's taken the time to listen. Again, this is all a collection of all the greats that we put together. It's not our doing, it's everybody's doing. And no man, no woman is an island. Love you guys, and we're going to keep moving forward and learning as much as we can, because we can't even pretend to think we know everything.
Do not be frightened right now. We're going into a new era right now.
Right. So I only use positive words. Everybody should be brave.
Yeah, we're here, aren't we? But anyway, David, Claudio, David, do you want to say something?
Just thank you and much love. I echo what brother said there, and I'm going to the gym every day at home. I am actually, utilizing time to research, do publications, strengthen. I've seen, since the lack of aeroplanes over in Anglo UK, bearing in mind I'm quite close to the East Midlands corridor, clear blue skies. Today's grey and cloudy. It looks normal grey. It's not like chemi, but I see clear skies, and I'm excited for the future. I'm happy, content, and sure that this is all going to blow over soon, and all will become apparent, and we'll all be happier and safer. So, yeah, thank you, Karen, for this.
No,
and
thank
Claudio.
you, guys. You made the hangout, guys, and thank you so much for all your information. Anyway, it's goodbye from us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Take care, and I hope that a lot of what's been said resonates with you. Thank you so much. Bye, everybody.